Fitness news for undoubtedly a really big Easter weekend. How are you looking?
Yeah, so at the minute we've got to see the physios this morning, so we won't know till after. But there was only probably one little concern, which was Farron Rawson. But so what I said, I won't know till I speak to the physios later on.
Vitally important to have him if you can, isn't it?
Yes, he does what he does. He heads the ball for us. He defends really well. You know, he's got that experience at the back, what we spoke about before, Andy, and you know, he marshals that. The younger lads either side of him, with his all experience and what have you. So his vast knowledge that he's got of the game. So yeah, so we'll see how he is.
It's always hard when we put microphones in front of managers 10 minutes after a game or 20 minutes, John, and you've got to make some sense of what you saw at the weekend. A few days after the event, what did you make of the weekend?
Well, it was one that, you know, you're winning 3-0 at home, you've got to see it out. No matter what, you have to see it out. It's as simple as that. You know, you couldn't get two different sorts of performances in terms of, you know, the way we played in the first half, the goals we scored were outstanding. And then second half. And it's mad because, like, at the time, we were all really hurting. I mean, it done my head in big time. Not just mine, other people, staff, what have you. The players were absolutely on the floor. They were devastated. I could see the fans because, you know, you think you're going to see it out. But you get up to it was the 78th minute, you know, and then you think to yourself, well, we've defended well here. I think we were loose with giving the ball back to them all the time. We weren't making good decisions on the ball. When we should have passed it, we were going long and vice versa, flip side of that. We weren't winning our duels, really. And to be fair to Tranmere, you know, they put us on the back foot. We didn't help ourselves, what I've just spoke about. They made this a substitution, I think, after 20 minutes or so, whatever that was. Then they've made another 2 at half-time, then they've made another 2. So, you know, their subs have had an impact. We've put our subs on to do similar things, type of thing, but they had momentum. But our lads, and it sounds mad, is that have defended well because the goals that went in were world-class goals. So, you know, the free kicks, don't give the free kick away, which you spoke about Saturday. It ends up in your top corner, and the other 2 were similar. So, you know, you've got to sort of just roll your sleeves up and go again. You've got to get yourself off the floor, which we have, and on to the next challenge.
It's really easy to pull the bones out of every goal that you can see, John, and say that should have worked, that should have happened. If that had have happened, that wouldn't have gone in. I've looked at those goals time and time again, and I feel sorry for your goalkeeper in many ways because they're just unstoppable, aren't they?
They are. Well, he hasn't put a foot wrong. Michael's come in, he's been chomping at the bit. We've said, you know, he's been pushing Billy. He's been training really well. We've had individual chats with him, with Michael. We've kept him going. You know, when he's come in and he's performed really well. You know, if you look at it, I think they've had 4 shots and, you know, 3 on target, if you like. I think he's made a little save, Michael, 1 for the other shot. So, you know, he's gone in and, as you said, he couldn't have done nothing with the goal. So you beat yourself up. It's just so annoying and you get sort of so angry because you should see the game. You should see it through. You're at home, you win a 3-0, you should see it through, full stop, no matter what. Body's on the line, you know, stop it. But the biggest thing for us was the lack of quality in terms of our decision-making in the second half was poor, and they know that. So, you know, the only thing now is it's on to the next challenge. We've reflected on it again, you know, and pull the bones out if you do. And as you said, you know, you've got to do that. You have to do that with every goal. Can you just do this? Can we just do that? Can you be in a better position? So you have to learn from it, and hopefully that they do that.
Without wanting to go back too much into it, John, and we will move on in a moment. At 3-2, did you have that horrible feeling in your stomach that we aren't going to see this through?
Well, you do, because, you know, any team that's putting you on the back foot and the way we were playing in terms of giving the ball back, you do fear. So you think to yourself, but, I mean, the other thing about it is where they're getting 11 minutes from. So that was the disappointing thing, and, you know, I've asked the fourth official on that, and you know, she said to me, well, I'll show you the card. What was the point of seeing the card? It's not going to change anything. 11 minutes went up, and we have to defend it, whether it was, you know, 7 or 8, which I thought it was, tops 9, but not 11, and then they played even more, and then the scenes after it were just, you know, it was just, it was one we have to do better at. We have to, no matter what, and the importance of it all, we have to see it over the line. And, you know, as you just said there, touched on, you could sense it, but I just thought to myself, you know, we're defending all right here. We are deep at times, we were trying to get out, but credit to them, they were putting us on the back foot. They were making runs, you know, third-man runs and everything else. They were dragging people out, and our lads stood up to the task. But the end of the day is when you can stop probably 2 of the goals in terms of can you get blocks in there? Can you throw your body on the line? And unfortunately we didn't.
I guess you can have that look at it that you can feel really flat by what's happened, John. Or you could look at it and say there's 4 games to go. We're in the same position as we were 5 games to go. There's 1 less game. We've still got that 6-point buffer. Things could be worse.
That's exactly it. So that's what you have to do. So there's nothing else you can do. I mean, I was flat as anything Saturday night. Sunday, I had to snap myself out of it because obviously the players are feeling the same way. So, you know, they've all come in, we've had the chats and everything else, and they're all ready to go, and we're in a strong position, we're in a good position. The teams are trying to catch us, and it's our job now on to the next game to make sure that we're putting more distance in between us.
Firmly in your hands, it always has been. That's got to be in your favour, hasn't it?
100%, 100%, and the lads know that, and we've got a good group of lads down there, and as I said, we've chatted over the game, the weekends, and the mistakes that we made at times, and that seems of giving the ball away and being loose with the ball and not passing the ball, which was disappointing. But you know, we've reflected on it, and we have to move on.
Undoubtedly, it's a huge weekend. Easter weekend is always sort of seen as that sort of area to look at league tables. There's no doubting. Friday and Monday are absolutely enormous for you, aren't they?
Yeah, well, so was Tranmere. Tranmere was enormous. So you had 5 games, and you just touched on it all before, Andy. We had 5 games. It was the biggest game in the club's history. Now everyone will say this will be the biggest game in the club's history. So,
do you think that's overplaying it, John?
Well, yeah, I think so. I just think I'm taking the pressure off everyone, because at the end of the day, the pressure to be on us, on me, and I just want the players to relax and go and do what they do. So if they do that, and the reaction that we had of Bromley for the first half there against Tranmere, and they can put that together and hold on to what you've got in terms of, if you've got a 3-0 lead, you can hold on to it. And the way you hold on to it is by passing the ball a bit better and making better decisions. And unfortunately, we didn't do that in the second half.
You've shown that you can keep clean sheets in this division. With that in mind, how much has it surprised you, the number of goals that have gone in the last 3 games? Because you've gone from a brilliant defensive record of late to a record that you must be so disappointed with.
Well, I have, and then you reflect on all the goals that have gone in and how they've gone in. So 2 of them are penalties at Bromley. You know, one was a shot and it squirmed under Billy. You know, the third one's a free header in the box. 2 midfielders getting mixed up with each other. You know, you can go back to the Fleetwood one. You know, the first goal, Fleetwood, was another one. Lads had 2-3 touches in the box, knitted into the bottom corner. It's gone through Devon Matthews' legs. And then you're looking at a free kick where it goes through the wall.
So they're your own doing.
So exactly. So what I'm saying is, you reflect on it. Can you be better on that? And it's not as if teams are cutting you open and you're going, oh my God, they're coming out of small angles here. The keeper's making unbelievable saves and they're just going through us like a knife through butter. And it's not a case of that. So early on in the season, it was making mistakes. Now all of a sudden, it's like, you know, the fourth one at Fleetwood, it's gone straight in the goal. Similar to the one against Bromley when we played them in Storm Dara, where it goes straight in. So, you know, you have to look at the goals and you have to be better, and we have to be better. And it was, in terms of the goals that went in recently, Bromley and the Fleetwood game, it was disappointing. And obviously, them on Saturday were just world-class goals. What
do you need to see at Salford this weekend?
The same desire, the same attitude, the same effort as everyone given the first half, and put 2 halves together. It's as simple as that. You know, it'll be a good atmosphere. Our fans will back us the way they do. The lads will be up for it, and we're up for a fight again. It's as simple as that. We know the situation. We know that we're in a strong position, better than 2 teams below us. And we've got to keep that and keep that distance away.
You've got 2 teams over Easter who've got a great deal to play for as well, John. Do you think that can help you?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you look at Salford last night against Doncaster, both of them pushing, one for automatic and one to get in the playoffs. So, you know, and we've got the same desire to get where we want to get, so we'll show that.
Not a lot in it, was there?
No, there wasn't, to be honest. I think it was a good game of football. I think Doncaster probably shaded the first half. I think they were unfortunate. I think Salford not to go in at half time up. And then I think they had a couple of chances, both players. I think Adelakins hit the post, and you know, Molyneux's had a couple of chances, and maybe Gibson as well. So probably a draw was a fair result. So as I said, we've seen what we've seen now, and then we just prepare for that.
Are they a good sort of barometer of how you can have a relatively poor first half of the season and really recover, that Salford have done?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, and size of the club as well. You know, obviously slightly probably bigger than ours, if you like, but. Yeah, you could see the signs of that, and hopefully that could happen to us.
Yeah. Just looking at team selection, John, for this weekend, you've seen one of your best performances of the season and a disappointing half of the season. So how easy is it to select your 11 for this one?
Well, it's not because, well, you could say because of results and all that. I mean, everyone's walked away there thinking we've lost the game. It just feels like a loss. We haven't. We drew the game. The lads have played really well in the first half, and then if you go up to the 78th minute, they've defended really well until the free kick goes in the top corner. Yet Tranmere put us on the back burner. So it feels like a loss. It wasn't a loss. It was a draw. It was 1 game less. So everyone's chomping the bit. Everyone's training well. We'll have another training session this morning, and we'll see how it goes.
Funny how draws feel, John. I mean, if you're 1-0 down in the 98th minute on Friday and score, and the results around you go your way, that must feel like a massive win, and it'll be a point.
Yeah, well, I think that's how they felt, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it was the game. It was the game where, you know, it was done. Really, it was done from our point of view. We haven't seen it out, and someone who gets you know, an equaliser in the last whatever minute you want to say, it does feel like a win. So it felt like a win for them. It felt like a defeat for us. It wasn't a defeat. We got a point. We should have got all three, but we move on now.